August 2019. I was pregnant with my third child. I dreamt that we went into a military lockdown. I had no idea that COVID was about to sweep the earth at that time. I had no idea that what the dreams that I was dreaming were prophetic dreams. I dreamt that we went into a military type lockdown. And I dreamt that there were tanks all over the streets where we live. I dreamt that there were bodies. I saw bodies in the streets, but I only saw Arab, Asian bodies in the streets where I live. I don't know why. To this day, I've asked the Lord to show me why. And the confirmations that He's given me is that the governments are going to try and create race wars and cause the people to rise up against one another. I dreamt that the building across from me that was not built at the time, it was a parking lot. I dreamt that it was on fire. What's very astonishing to me now is that that building has been built, and it's exactly the same building from the dream that God gave me in 2019. I dreamt that there were drones flying around telling people to stay in their homes. I went onto my balcony because by this time my balcony was completely demolished from the bombs that were going down. I went onto my balcony and I began to shout to the people below that had been bombed that I had a first aid kit and that I was going to come down and try and help them. And as I did that, a drone flew in front of me and read me everything about me and told me that I needed to stay in the house. I argued and said, but it looks as though you're killing people. The drone responded, stay in your house, there's a virus. Okay, so I remember the father of my children at the time we were together. We're no longer together. I dreamt that he was holding my now 6-year-old daughter. In the dream, she looked as though she was about 6 years old. And bear in mind, she had not been born yet. I remember him saying to me, Ash, we're on lockdown. Don't you understand? Come back inside. We went back inside, and as the bombs were going down, there was a bang on the door, and there were people with hazmat suits, dressed in hazmat suits with these big needles, these big vaccinations, and they were demanding to vaccinate us. Obviously we resisted, we refused, and so they arrested us and they put us in these giant FEMA vehicles, and they took us to these big concentration camps, I don't know where. Anyway, they strapped us to these beds. You know, the beds that they strap crazy people to. They strapped us from head to toe, like strapped our arms, strapped our legs. And as the lady was about to inject me with this giant vaccine, whatever, I remember crying out to Jesus and saying, Lord, don't you care that they're gonna kill us? And as I said that, I turned and I looked at my ex. He was holding my 2 older kids in his arms, and they were strapped to a bed, and he kept saying to me, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. I had the baby, I had Amber with me. In the dream she was about 5-6 years old. And as I screamed, Lord, don't you care? The ground, I had this understanding that there was a global earthquake. The ground split and we were all displaced. There was a massive earthquake. Anyway, I dreamt that we came back to the location where we live. I dreamt that this now city where I live was a futuristic city, and it was completely AI and amazing, you know. I remember seeing people walking on the streets with these bracelets, these glowing bracelets. Everyone looked young. Everyone looked very young, very beautiful, very amazing. And I remember seeing these Jamaican people on the high street, on the street, and they were barbecuing. And I remember approaching them and saying, why do you look so sad? You look young, you look beautiful, you look amazing. It looks like those bracelets are renewing your energy. Where can I get one of those bracelets? And I remember this Jamaican man saying to me, after all you did to try and warn us, the least we can do is offer you a plate of food after all you tried to warn us. It's not too late for you, but it's too late for us. I took the plate of food. I took the plate of food, but I didn't understand. He said, don't take the mark, because if you take the mark of the beast, the 666, they'll give you one of these bracelets and your soul will be lost forever. Don't take it. It's not too late for you, but it's too late for us. And I took the food and I went to go sit down. And I sat on this bench. And I remember thinking, God, thank you for saving me. And as I sat down, this bench began to lift up into the sky. And it just kept lifting and lifting and lifting. At that time, I didn't really believe in the rapture. I didn't really understand what the rapture was about. And as we were passing the clouds, I remember looking up and I saw these two giant feet in the clouds. And I knew that was my Lord, that's Jesus. And I said, that's my Lord. And as I said that, I dropped my baby. And I said, Lord, we need to go back and get my baby. And before I could even say that, I saw this big giant hand point down beside me. And he said, no man can snatch you from my hands. And I looked below and I saw my baby in the arms of an angel on the ledge below. And I woke up. And when I woke up into another dream. And this dream, I was on a train. And it was like we were in Ukraine, because I looked out the window and I saw Chernobyl. And I remember thinking, why are we looking at Chernobyl? And I looked at the train. It was a 1920s steam train and it was so beautiful. And I think my friend was with me with her kids. And I looked outside to see the train tracks, and there were no train tracks, but we were lifting into the sky. And as I looked out the window to notice this, I saw these missiles coming towards Chernobyl and blowing up Chernobyl. And the shrapnel hit the glass of the train. And I just heard these two loud knocks, bam, bam. And I woke up. And when I woke up from that dream to reality, to two bangs on my door. I went downstairs. Now bear in mind, I'm still pregnant with my baby. And I see two census officers at my door. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and they're demanding to come inside my house. And I said, no. I said, you want to come inside my house to see if I am who I say I am. I don't need to explain myself to you. And I remember them, and I remember looking outside, and because I live in an estate, council estate, and all my neighbors had people banging on their doors. So my neighbor from upstairs called me and she said, what's going on? Like, are they allowed to do this? And I said, don't let them in. I don't think this is allowed. And so one of the ladies said something and that stuck out to me. And I said, why are you doing this? She said, well, something big is coming. And it's gonna rock this world. A week later, it was in the newspaper that the census people that had come to bang on our doors, this was a social experiment gone wrong. It failed because the people in my estate were outraged, basically. Not long after that, we went into lockdown. So this happened in August, maybe August, September 2019, and we went into lockdown March 2020. I remember telling my mother-in-law about the drones and, you know, all this crazy stuff, and she said, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. And then it happened. We went into lockdown. But I don't think the dream that I had was the lockdowns that we went into. I think the lockdown that I saw was a military lockdown. Anyway, from then on, my life was completely changed, and I've had continuous dreams and visions of hell, the rapture, the great tribulation. And my warning to you all is that Jesus is coming back very soon. He told me to tell you all that he's not coming back for a church that's not watching for his coming. He told me to tell you that you cannot drink from the cup of the Lord and drink from the cup of devils, for he will spew you out of his mouth. The times for sitting on the fence is over. The days of sitting on the fence are over. You need to give your life to Jesus. You need to openly declare that he is Lord, because he said, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father. I will deny you before my Father.